49ers intel from Maine, York, Maine, just north of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Portsmouth, by the way, beautiful town. I'll have a video on Portsmouth and my friend Chaz. He's got his little electric bike company going out there. But first, we'll have 49ers intel here from Maine. They had a bonus practice back west today. I'll be at the team facility starting Wednesday for those Steelers practices. Bonus practice news for the 49ers, rather simple today. You had Matthew Wright, the practice squad kicker, officially joined the fold, and the 49ers waived or released Brian Hill, the veteran running back, to make room for Wright on the practice squad. So just in case Jake Moody is not ready to go on Sunday, the 49ers had the former Steelers kicker Matthew Wright as part of their football team. But Jake Moody did practice today, according to reports, so it's looking good in his direction. I don't think that we can judge any of these injuries, like George Kittle's, Tashawn Gibson's, both of those guys missed practice today. I don't think that we could fairly judge their probability for the game until Wednesday, because today was just a bonus practice. So in most weeks, you wouldn't even have an injury report on a Monday practice. You're going to practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But because we're moving from week 0 to week 1, the 49ers did have the bonus practice. Kittle didn't practice. Neither did Tashawn Gibson. Good news for the 49ers is that Talanoa Hufanga is back out on the practice field, and so is Dre Greenlaw. So 2 defensive starters back, Gibson and Kittle. We're still going to wonder about those 2 guys. Maybe on Wednesday we'll have a clearer view, because Kyle Shanahan did not even speak today. So no injury report from the coach either. So that's all something that we'll have to wait until the normal work week. Obviously, the Nick Bosa watch continues. He was not out there. The contract has not yet been signed. Yes, week 1 is now less than a week away. What's at stake? Well, Bosa is currently on a $17.9 million salary for this season. Once he starts missing game time, if that's what it comes to, then it will be 1/18 of that $17.9 million per year for the 18 weeks of the season. So that's about $1 million per week that Bosa would theoretically be sacrificing. Now, he's obviously also sacrificing whatever he'd be making under his new contract, which would probably be more than $1 million per week. But it might be a leverage standoff at this point. I've always talked about this being like a game of chicken. Neither side wants to get into an accident, because that accident's going to hurt you somehow. Bosa's not going to get money. 49ers aren't going to have the defensive player of the year. In a game of chicken with 2 cars hurtling toward each other, generally it's right before the accident when one of the cars swerves, when one of the cars takes evasive action. So maybe the 49ers feel they don't need to take evasive action until after week 1 or week 2 without Bosa, when they struggle as a defense. And then they're like, oh boy, well, this crash is fiery. We better get out of the way. We better run away from the vehicle at this point. It's one of those situations where it's going to be extremely hard to tell who has ultimate leverage until games are actually played, if it does get to that point. Right now, Bosa might, think that he has the long-term leverage because he can say that the 49ers can't win a Super Bowl without him, but the 49ers might be able to win weeks 1 and 2 without him, right? So the 49ers could dig in, sit in for a longer-term play, and they might be incentivized to do so just through their salary cap situation. You sign Bosa for a certain amount of money, but it cripples your ability to keep a team together beyond 2023. Is it really worth signing Bosa to that kind of money? So you got to negotiate a deal that's beneficial to you in the short run and in the long run. And obviously, the 49ers believe there can be a sweet spot where both Bosa and they are happy with how this turns out. But apparently the 2 sides aren't at that position yet. It might be somewhere between the TJ Watt money and the Aaron Donald money. It might have a lot to do with guaranteed money. Either way, the 49ers have to fit this into their salary cap situation that's really, really crowded. And especially in 2024, it's really crowded. But they do have to also execute this deal to cut the 2023 cap bill to spread Bosa's hit out so they have room to operate here in 2023. They're one of those 7 or 8 teams that needs to make a move before the start of week 1 to be under the salary cap. And the Bosa re-signing, if it does happen before Sunday, would be that move. Otherwise, the 49ers are going to have to do something else. So anyway, that is the 49ers update, 49ers intel from today. That's all I can tell you about the Nick Bosa negotiation. They're playing a game of chicken. They do not want to collide. Nobody wants that head-on collision. But, boy, Sunday, I think, is when you would have at least some sort of collision, right? If Bosa doesn't show up by Sunday, somebody in this negotiation is finally officially getting hurt, and maybe that is the deadline that both sides need to finally get this thing done. But we've been in it for the long haul. We still might be in it for a little while. We'll continue watching Nick Bosa and the 49ers as they try to work this thing out. It's week 0 moving into week 1. Back to the West Coast for 49ers Steelers practice starting on Wednesday.